So I know a lot of people have already done the dive into Teresa Greenfield, who's the law clerk, principal law clerk for that Judge Engeron in Trump's case in New York. You know that the same judge that was promoted by the Barack Obama Democratic Club. Yeah, this isn't her. But this is somebody different that Chuck Schumer ran around with that is named Teresa Greenfield. This would be for 20. She was running in Iowa for is it 2020? She didn't win, but was running for a Senate seat. So when I was looking into the Allison Greenfield, I came across this. I don't know that there's any connection, but there's some things that are just strange. So I'm just going to put it out there. Let me just let you know about her first, okay? So in Iowa, they weren't buying it. She didn't stand a chance there because they saw she was a total globalist, and she is. In India, they have Greenfield smart cities. Greenfield, yeah. And given that this is cut off, but she's the Department of Agriculture for Joe Biden because she lost her Senate race in 2020 in Iowa. So in 2021, President Joe Biden appointed Greenfield as Iowa director for the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Rural Development Program. Greenfield works under U.S. Secretary Agriculture Tom Vilsack. So yeah, it's just a little strange. Let me see if I can try to explain how I came upon this, okay? So I was looking into the Allison Greenfield, and there was one site that said that Allison Greenfield, and this is Teresa Greenfield, that Allison Greenfield, the clerk, that she was tied to Lionheart and also Oz Holdings, LLC. So the Oz Holdings, I looked into, assuming that this article was right. You don't really know if it is. Because the Oz Holdings LLC is like a shell company tied to an Ofer Sternberg, and the names, I'll show a couple pictures in a minute. I don't want to confuse people because that's why I didn't do the video the other night, is because it's like all over the place. Some's really just way all over the place with Chuck Schumer. Like, that shouldn't be a surprise, right? Okay, but all of this is dirty. It's so it's past the corruption dirty, and it's like something's just really off. So I don't really have the full connections, is what I'm saying, but something's wrong. So yeah, he was all in with this, with her. So he has some ties to Greenfield, but I don't know. I can't tell you for sure that this is Allison. I can't tell you this person, Teresa Greenfield, who ran for Senate, is tied to Allison Greenfield, but she's definitely a globalist, and she's tied to big money. And they were both tied to some corruption there in Iowa. She's a Greenfield too. You know, what did Trump say in his post where, the judge put him on a partial gag order because he said he showed that picture for those that haven't. I think most people have seen it by now. Trump said, why is Schumer palling around with his girlfriend? And he was talking about the law clerk, but he was also palling around with this other Greenfield. This was 2020. Senator Chuck Schumer praises soon-to-be colleague Teresa Greenfield in remarks to Polk County Democrats. So yeah, she's in Iowa. He's palling. Here, let me show you this. Or if I meant to say, let me come back to this. This was a parody. If I didn't show it, I already forgot. But I didn't know if I started with this one. This is a parody of some Iowans did. Iowans weren't having it when she ran for Senate. So this was just a parody saying that they're going to run all around the state because Chuck Schumer was running all around the state with her. And they were joking that, like a movie, picture, basically saying they're going to dodge questions, dodgeball. Schumer, Greenfield, dodgeball, dodging questions all over Iowa. Now, she lost the Senate race, but then went on, as I said in my last, that she's in Joe Biden's administration. She's in agriculture. Teresa Greenfield rakes in cash amid pandemic crisis. Yes, tied to End Citizens United. This is End Citizens United, we the people, not we the wealthy. Our mission to fix our democracy by getting big money out of politics, and they were directly all tied to big money. Such a joke. We will work to end our rigged political system. Yeah, because they're rigging it. By electing reform champions. Yeah, no, she's not any reform champion. None of these people are. These people are sick. So this is another picture of her. This was 2019, making early endorsement in Senate. Primaries, grassroots activists aren't happy. Democrat Senate candidate Teresa Greenfield speaks with a reporter at a picnic hosted by Adair County Democrats in Greenfield. Yeah, so that's her. So this is where it got confusing, okay? Because looking into the original one, so this was the one I originally was looking into, right? This is the clerk that's in Trump's case that seems to, have some axe to grind. Yeah, because she's a globalist. I'm sure she's tied to the other one. I can't tell you she for sure is. But Chuck Schumer sure seems to be tied to the Greenfields. And here's what this is how it got so confusing for me, why I didn't do the video, and it's still, I'm just throwing this all out there, is that when I went to look up this one, okay, which is the Allison Greenfield, there was an article I came upon. I'm assuming maybe it's wrong, but I don't know, because I think she's tied to Lionheart, and it's like a holdings company. And then, so I came across this article that was saying she was tied to a Lionheart LLC and Oz Holdings LLC. I don't know that she is. I don't know if it's a different, I'll show you why I'm saying that. But yet she did have it as like one of her connections. It was on her Facebook, I think. I'm not on Facebook, so somebody would have to check. That or Instagram, something like. It was Lionheart was one of the connections. So it's just strange. But then, because when you look into like Oz Holdings LLC, which is just a shell company, it goes back to this Ophir Sternberg, who goes back to fluorescent street lighting, like for smart cities. And then I said before that in India they have Greenfield smart cities. This is where it became a little confusing for me, yet also it led to this whole this Sternberg, because under Oz, the only people names that were under Oz Holdings LLC was Allison. This is a different Allison though. She's up there too, the blonde. I'll show a close-up picture of her in a minute. This is an Allison Greenfield, and the Ophir, if you see in the middle, Ophir Sternberg. Those are the names, along with Sternberg's wife, that are the only names on the partners for Oz Holdings LLC, that then have people on their board that tie back to the Sternberg lighting of like smart city lightings, the cameras and lights, all that stuff that goes along with the smart city 15-minute cities, for the environment shit. So this is not that same Allison, yet why is she's, do you see where the confusion is? It's the same name, but yet she's also, it's like one of her contacts. Then you have Chuck Schumer that's palling around with not this Al, but a different Al. It's like, what the hell's going on? So this is Allison Greenfield and that Ophir Sternberg, okay? That was the partners on Oz Holdings LLC, that seems to be a shell company for a bunch of other companies that are tied to, well, you know what it is, the globalism. So I'll do more on Chuck Schumer. It goes deeper than this.